When gardeners face a bed of lifeless compacted earth, most assume the answer is backbreaking labor, turning, hauling, and mixing inexpensive amendments. But here's the hook. What if the best way to bring dead soil back to life wasn't about constant digging or fancy inputs, but about setting up a simple system and letting nature itself do the heavy lifting? Gardeners in history, from ancient farmers to modern soil scientists, have discovered that the most effective revival methods often require less effort, not more. This approach not only saves time but also builds healthier, richer soil in the long run. Stay with this, because what follows is one of the most genius yet lazy ways to turn poor soil into living, fertile ground. Dead soil is more than just dirt without plants. Before reviving soil, it's important to understand what dead really means. Soil that no longer grows crops well is usually compacted, low in organic matter, stripped of microbes, and often hard as clay or, dusty as sand. It isn't truly dead, it's dormant, just waiting for the right conditions to come alive again. The missing ingredients are air, organic material, and microbial life. Once these are restored, even the most exhausted soil can, honestly, become a thriving environment again. Many gardeners burn themselves out trying to shovel compost or buy fertilizers, hoping to force results, but there is a gentler method. It's one that encourages biology to repair the soil while you step back and let nature do its thing. The genius really lies in layering organic matter. Instead of tilling or digging, the lazy gardener's method relies on what's often called sheet composting or lasagna layering. It's quite fascinating. This involves adding organic material in layers directly on top of the dead soil and letting time, moisture, and microbes break it down into humus. The beauty of this system is that it mimics the forest floor, where leaves, branches, and plant matter naturally fall, decompose, and build rich soil without any human interference. Isn't that just amazing? So here's a simple example of ratios to make it work. You want to start with a layer of brown carbon-rich material like shredded cardboard, dry leaves, or straw, and aim for about 3 to 4 inches thick. On top of that, go ahead and add a layer of nitrogen-rich greens, such as grass clippings, kitchen scraps, or fresh weeds, at about 2 inches thick. Then, just keep alternating these layers, finishing up with a final mulch layer of straw wood chips or even more leaves. A pile of organic matter left uncovered may dry out, blow away, or decompose unevenly. During World War II, victory gardeners learned to cover their compost heaps with burlap or tarps to keep moisture in. The same principle applies here. After layering your organic matter, you'll want to water it well so it's damp but not soggy. Next, cover it with a layer of mulch, or even a sheet of old burlap, cardboard, or cloth. This kind of cover creates the right environment for microbes and worms to get to work without interruption. Every gardener knows worms are valuable, but in this method they actually become the main workers. Worms are drawn to decomposing organic matter, and as they move through the layers, they digest it and leave behind castings rich in nutrients. You don't need to buy worms. If your soil is outdoors, they'll arrive naturally once the conditions are right. For faster results, some gardeners add a starter handful of red wigglers from a compost bin directly into the layers. Give them a consistent food source, like weekly kitchen scraps added under the mulch, and they'll multiply, building a living workforce under your feet. Another step that, requires very little energy but delivers some powerful results is sowing cover crops, often called green manures, directly into the layered soil once decomposition is underway. Plants like clover vetch or even just simple field peas, well, they fix nitrogen into the soil and add more biomass when you cut them back. In Europe after the Second World War, farmers who didn't have access to fertilizers often turned to cover crops to help restore their worn-out fields. To put this into practice, here's a step-by-step example for a dead 4x8 bed. First, lay down about 3 inches of shredded cardboard or straw. Then add 2 inches of grass clippings mixed with kitchen scraps. Next, add another 2 to 3 inches of dry leaves. Be sure to water each layer as you build, making sure it's moist but not soaked. After that, top everything with a thick mulch of straw or wood chips about 4 inches deep. Finally, cover loosely with burlap or cardboard for the first few weeks to help keep in heat and moisture. What makes this system genius is its sustainability. Once soil life is restored, it tends to stay alive as long as organic matter keeps coming. Instead of exhausting yourself with digging and constant amendments, you simply top up the soil each season with more mulch or organic layers. The biology in the soil takes care of the rest. It is lazy only in labor, not in effectiveness. Over the years, the soil becomes richer, more resilient to drought, and honestly, easier to work. Reviving dead soil does not have to mean breaking your back or emptying your wallet. By using the lazy layering method, keeping it moist and covered, encouraging worms and adding cover crops, gardeners can turn lifeless ground into a fertile bed, ready for planting. If you found this guide useful and want to learn more strategies for bringing soil back to life, make sure to subscribe to Soil and Plant Doctor and share this video with fellow gardeners. The more we return to these timeless methods, the less we rely on exhaustion or chemicals, and the more we build gardens that thrive year after year.